frustration. Well. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sicilian Corner. Hey, Lou, how you doing?
Doing
All right. You're happy? Mikey's happy. You see this guy sitting next to me?
Yeah.
He looks fantastic. Jeez,
how about that? Thank you. I'll be here every Friday.
Everybody, I know many people know this gentleman. Mayor of Lawrence for 8 years. Mike, you came in 2001, was it?
I went in November 8th of 2001. I took the term a little early, and your audience would remember Patricia Dowling.
Oh,
who was
yes.
the previous mayor.
Yeah,
she
became
left
a judge
a little early, left the term early, and my election was November 6th of 2001, and expecting to be sworn in January of 2002. And I got the call the next day from the Lawrence City Clerk and said, we're tossing things around. We'd like to swear you in a little early. I said, okay. What do you just want to swear me in like January 2nd? He says, no, we'd like to swear you in tomorrow. So I got sworn in November 8th at City Hall. Didn't know where the bathrooms were at the time.
That's too funny.
So
what political background did you have prior to running for mayor?
I was on the city council for one term. I ran for the city council in 2000, and I ran for, we were talking about this the other day, there's always should be a reason to get involved, I think. And my reason back then was I was a Pop Warner coach, and we played at the old Veteran Stadium, which I know you had a lot of had a lot of games at that stadium, Mike, in your old days, right?
Lawrence
from
Little,
you played.
I played Little League for 4 years, and then we were fortunate enough to play at Lawrence High, and
you were with
we went undefeated with Joe Celia and Norm Poole. And
you with some.
The
teams.
Funny thing, Mike, I was telling Louie early before we went on. Yesterday, I got together, and we get together every 3 months, and we're between 12 and 15 guys that played on the team. Some played baseball, but most were football players. Every 3 months we get together and we go for breakfast at a different location. Some people live at the beach. So yesterday we were down at Richards. I was telling you about it. And we had a beautiful breakfast down there. And everybody was telling war stories. But Jeepers Creepers, I was telling Louie earlier, you walk around the table and there's different conversations going on. You got 12 people, so usually you're talking to the guy next to you. Everything was centered around who's got what. Oh, you think that's bad? I got this. You think that's bad? I got that. Yeah, now I need to have a hip replacement. I was depressed. I got out. I was depressed. It was driving me crazy. Let's talk about the pot. But it's been 63 years since we started doing these breakfasts, Lou.
Yep.
And it's amazing that we still have fun with it. Everybody gets together.
It really is.
It's nice though, Mike, when you look back at you had some great teams, not only winning teams, but you guys became best friends, and they were your brothers. And that's a great reflection of, I think, and I look back at a lot of this stuff, and I look at the city was sort of a melting pot. Friends we made as kids.
There were so many neighborhoods back then. It was a pleasure.
Sure.
It was a pleasure.
Sure.
You'd go out with somebody and, they may be French.
Right.
You go to dinner, you'd have the type of food that they were accustomed to cooking. All of a sudden you meet a Russian and you're eating Russian food or whatever. I'm just using them for an example. And it was great. It was a great city to grow up in. In South Lawrence, I was like the token Italian on Exeter Street. And then they built the veterans housing. That started in 1951. And all of a sudden, I've got 520 new neighbors, and many of them, their names, Louis, ended in a vowel. So I loved it. It was it was great. It was great.
Those were
especially when it
days,
came to Halloween, because you had no stairs to climb.
Yeah.
You know, you had 1-2 steps. Then there was 2 families on each side of the door. So you could fill up a Demoulas bag in 15 minutes. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was good.
Well, you didn't have 2 things which I think could be eliminated. You didn't have a car at 16. You walked, and you didn't have a cell phone. Those 2 things I think we need to eliminate going forward, because it forced you to have the great times, and you're continuing to meet with the great group. But getting my city council, the only reason I ran for city council was I was coaching Pop Warner at Veterans Memorial Stadium, is where our home team was. And the stadium had really gone through some tough times back then. This is in the year 2000. And there was no running water, no concession stands. The field was kind of a mud bowl. And the 1/3
Would you say kind of?
Going up the bleachers, there was people that can remember this, because our athletes played on this field. There was police tape that said, you couldn't go more than 1/3 up the bleachers, because the structure was bad.
The cement was peeling off the steel.
So I ran with a number of coaches, and we ran on a little platform, coaches for a better stadium. And that was the mission. And then one thing led to another.
And you were successful.
We ran for city council, and you know, once you get in, you realize a couple of things. You realize that a structure like Veterans Memorial Stadium that was built after World War I in the 30s. The fix isn't call Jackson Lumber and see if they can donate some 2x4s for the bleachers. The fix was a multi-million-dollar fix. And I realized, you really needed to be, that was one of my goals when I became mayor, was to really go out and bond some money. That stadium was $10 million to
Is that what it was back then?
That. And that was in 2003 is when we started the renovation. And with that, the field turf became popular. So all the new structures, like we spent some time down in Lowell, and we toured Colley Stadium and talked to those folks before we renovated. And they had said, it might be $1 million, but go with the field turf, because you get a lot of life with it and you can play multiple sports. And then we just widened it a bit so we could play soccer on the field as well, and have a state approved track. So it was great, and it was a great run. And I look back and the great times, the Feast of the Three Saints, the entertainment we did at the stadium, and we were trying to change the image of Lawrence and bring it back to where it used to be, where people love to visit and enjoy it and
be safe.
Yeah, and be safe. And I think you guys, all the people that volunteer, I give the credit to, that there was thousands of people that worked to help Lawrence because it was in your heart, and you're one of them right here, Mike.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. Hey, while you were talking, your brother served as mayor for a couple of years, and then he became head of transportation in Massachusetts. Were you guys the only brothers that served as mayor for the city of Lawrence?
Yeah, I don't think there was anybody crazy enough to do that other than me and Kevin. So I believe to the date,
I couldn't find it.
I think we're the only 2 brothers that actually served as mayor, and Kevin was from 1986 to 1994, and he was the youngest mayor in the country at the time when he was.
I didn't know that.
He was. I think it was. There's a historic thing where cities over 40,000 population, and he was 26 years old when he won. And
wow.
And he was, I think he did a great job, and then went on to work at the state level as Secretary of Transportation, and then Secretary of A&F. And he's doing quite well. So he's my younger kid brother. So he's doing really well. So we look back with all good thoughts and just a great city that helped us out when we were growing up with pretty much without a dad. Our dad died at a very young age, and it was our mom who was in a body, raised us, but it was the neighborhood.
Your mother's name was Anna?
Anna Abadi. Yeah. And
I used to meet her at the feast. I love talking to her. Yeah. I love talking. Well, she used to come to all the shows in the Common too. And she never left without coming over and shaking hands.
Yeah.
And saying, who are you having next year?
Yeah. Well, the DeFioris and you guys, and we're all very, very close friends. And Mom made it to almost 98 years old.
Salute.
Just passed away a couple of years ago and still very healthy to the end. So we were blessed to have her. But we were also blessed to grow up in a city like you did, where neighborhood was everything. We never remembered a day after our dad passed away, and we were all young, where we felt alone.
Your father passed away when he was 45. And you have 4 brothers?
Yeah,
and 3 brothers?
So it was,
I mean, that's a lot of responsibility for a woman.
Yeah, and he started the business, and that was full
Who started
time.
Your dad started the business or your mother?
No, my dad.
Okay.
And then she took over the business, raised us 4, and
in her spare time,
and took in her mother, who was blind at the time, came over from Italy, and she worked at the wood mill, and she lived with us as well. So, but it was the neighborhood that helped her and us. We had company every night for years.
Wow.
And that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
We always had the coffee going.
Yeah.
She always was ready for unexpected visitors who showed up every night of the week. So I don't know where the unexpected came from, but it was always a great childhood. So.
Where were her parents from? Your grandparents?
They're from Tracastani.
Okay. Right near Catania, Louis.
Yeah.
Right on that coast.
Yeah.
Nancy's
beautiful
asking,
area.
Did your mother work at Greco's? Nancy's.
She didn't. Her mother worked at the wood mill, and they came in and settled on Portland Street in South Lawrence, and there were 9 of them. Mm-hmm. Her maiden name was Abadi.
Yeah, amazing how many Italians lived on Portland Street, Loring Street, Salem Street, that end.
And then unbelievable. And she worked. She was the only one that graduated Lawrence High School, because back then her father, the history kind of repeated itself, but her father did a lot of building in Boston. And when those 8 kids were all young, there was one time when he just decided not to come home. So as my mom and my aunts reached an age, they all went out into the wood mill and had to work. And but she went to Lawrence High, and then the Macintosh Business School, which is the building still stands, but but that's what they did. There was a lot of jobs, and everybody worked hard.
I was involved, opened up a little computer school in Wyndham, and I was very young. I mean, I was probably maybe 24, 25, and they were looking for 10 investors. So I came in. You mentioned Macintosh. At that time, Macintosh was getting ready to close out, and they had 103 students, and we took the students into our business for $1. We paid Macintosh $1, and the kids started coming up to us, and we had all brand new equipment and everything else.
That's great.
It was a wonderful experience. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but something, wherever I could help out, I did.
Yeah.
And it just, when you said Macintosh, just rang my bell. Let's talk about business. T.A. Sullivan Agency. How many agencies are there?
So getting back into the whole family, my dad started the business in 1963 in a little office on South Union and Cambridge Street, which is where we grew up, and started the business. Unfortunately, in 1970, he passed away, left it. My mom got involved primarily doing homeowners insurance, auto insurance back then. To this date, with my brothers getting involved with it at an early age, and our company has grown. We're now in Methuen, and we're in North Reading.
You got North Reading too.
2 locations, and we've had a 62-year run in business, and we're an independent agent, meaning we represent a lot of the large property and casualty insurance companies. And I know we want to chat a little bit about the crazy world of property insurance, especially the last few years with the rates.
You have to feel bad for people. Louis, I don't have a clock on my computer, so you let me know when it's.
Let's take a break.
All right. We're going to take a break, Mike. We come back. We're going to get into it, baby. Into it.
And we're going to get some people excited about a boring product of insurance.
It's so important, though. We'll be right back, everybody.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
When you dine at Ristorante Melisse in Amesbury, Massachusetts, you feel at home while enjoying an authentic Italian dining experience not to be forgotten. From the appetizer to dessert, you won't regret your choice. Bring your cravings and appetites. They promise you won't leave hungry or without leftovers for the next day. Takeout and catering are also available. Give them a call or visit them online for the menu, online ordering, and reservations. RistoranteMelisse.com. That's RistoranteMolise.com or call 978-388-4844. Ristorante Melisse, where you're treated like family. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy.
And Mike Kunstler.
Owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
He is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back, and we have ex-mayor Mike Sullivan with us, right?
That's it.
And you have some good memories, and you accomplished quite a bit in those 8 years that you were in office. Listen, we have quite a few people that want to say hi. Andy Parisi is saying good morning. Nancy Patera DeMarco is saying good morning. It's nice to hear from people, and these are our regulars. They all come on. Nancy wanted to know, did your mom work at Greco's?
Nancy, she did not. She didn't work at Greco's, but my aunt was Connie DeMarco. Lived on Swan Street in Methuen. Married to my Uncle Joe. They were all, if it's the same, could be the same family. But she didn't work at Greco. She worked a little bit at the wood mill, and then worked at the actual diner across from the wood mill that was on, I believe, South Union Street. I'm not sure what's in that building now, but it's right at the corner of South Union, right across kitty corner from the wood mill, across from the transportation building.
Oh, okay.
There was a little diner in there.
Yeah, there was.
That
right.
served, thousands of people that worked for the mills at the time. So
now, are you talking on Merrimack Street?
It's on Merrimack and South Union.
Merrimack and South Union.
Right at the end.
Because Delmonico's was a little further down, right at the triangle.
This would be at right across from the McGovern Transportation Building, directly across the street.
Huh.
So anyways, but
Andy Parisi's dad worked at the wood mill. I think, my grandparents, mostly all our grandparents worked at the wood mill.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Well, when you think about it, you had the textile mills were the reason why a lot of people came over from Europe to settle here. It was always a job opportunity,
that they didn't have.
And the wood mill was
all right. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts here. Louis, you let me know when it's time to go out, okay? Insurance. How many people have really sat down? I'm talking to our listeners. How many of you have really sat down and taken out your homeowner's policy and read every single sentence? I know I haven't. Shame on me, but I haven't. But it's getting so expensive with some of these events that are taking place throughout the country. You got a lot of insurance companies that are actually folding or will not write insurance in certain states, right, Mike?
That's right. Sure. Yeah.
The key thing that you should do when you're taking out a homeowner's policy, and you say somebody walked into your office, what would you tell them? I mean, the house is worth, say, $550. What would you tell them? What kind of a policy would you recommend for them, coverage-wise? They have a mortgage of, say, $200.
Yeah. So, first of all, Mike, thank you for having me on, because this topic is so important, not only from a cost standpoint, I think the more important is
Peace of mind.
You want to make sure you have a policy that is giving you coverage, because none of this matters until there's a claim. And once if anybody out there has ever dealt with dealing with the insurance company and paying a claim, that's when you want to make sure you have, and to your point, you want to understand your insurance policy. Couple of things I want to explain to you. I think in the last 5 years, we've seen increases 10, 20, 30% a year for auto and homeowners insurance. And it's almost the same concept as what we're seeing when you go to Market Basket or Stop and Shop. If you look at the percentage increase of food products, insurance is pretty much matching that. So a couple of things that are important, and this is the way the insurance companies calculate what they call replacement cost coverage. To your point, Mike, if somebody in Methuen goes out and pays $200,000 for a single family home, and they own it free and clear, the insurance company doesn't care about that. There's something called a estimator, a replacement cost estimator, and it's mainly based on the square footage of the house, the age of the house, any updates. And basically, the automation is so good now, by typing in the address, the insurance carriers will calculate what they call a replacement cost, meaning if there was a complete loss, how much would it cost builders to build that property from scratch? So on a typical single family home, and I can use my Lawrence single family brick home that is now valued at over $600,000 based on the insurance replacement cost. And that basically it's valued based on the square footage.
But that doesn't include the land, correct?
It doesn't include the land. It includes just the structure.
The structure.
And that's how the insurance companies are valuing your coverage. So every year, the insurance carriers are automatically recalculating a replacement cost, and that's based on the cost of materials, the cost of labor, if you do need to replace, and these calculations are based on countrywide calculations.
Okay.
They're not based on just local. So we write for a number of different companies, and there's a few things that I think you need to understand. Number one, you need to understand what that replacement cost number is and what that means. That gives you 100% replacement cost. 99% of the times, if there's a mortgage involved, the bank is going to make you have 100% replacement cost coverage.
Okay.
So they're going to make you pay for 1 year in full. The rest of that comes out of your monthly payment in their escrow account.
All right.
So a couple of quick
How do you
things.
prove contents? In other words, should you take a video? Should you take pictures? Which?
So in the old days, they recommended you go around and you video your living room, your kitchen.
Yeah.
Today's day, what happens on these homeowners policies, for example, if your replacement cost, we call it coverage A, is $600,000.
Okay.
To cover the structure, it calculates one half of that is automatically your personal property coverage. It assumes that for a home like that, you would have $300,000 worth of personal property, furniture, etc.
That seems awful high.
Well, so what happens is it's all based on that coverage A number, and there's a number of different coverages that are percentages of that. This is why it's important to understand the coverages. One is, they call it other structures. If there's a shed outside, if there's a fence, a pool, that coverage is automatically included.
A
in
generator. It gets damaged by a tree. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
All these things could be covered or they could be excluded. But this is why it's very important to understand what you're buying for your homeowner's policy. And in the case of a claim, that you have the coverage that's going to reimburse you for that.
Okay, so contents basically is a formula that they use. So you really don't have to take the time to go through every room and take pictures.
That's correct.
Okay.
The companies assume that, a typical home has certain things, etc. One of the most important things we could do also today to save a little bit of money is to increase your deductibles. The old days, they used to be, you could have a $100 deductible if there were a claim. Historically, it's been a $500 deductible. Most homeowners, customers now are increasing that to $1,000 deductible, which saves you quite a bit of money from your annual premium just by increasing your deductible. Now, what happens is, in the case of a claim, they would take the deductible. They would pay you everything over that. But for what I would recommend is, when you're getting a quote, ask your agent, how much would it be if I changed my deductible to $1,000 or to $2,000? And
I think I run
$100.
2,500 personally, I think.
Sure. And that, would put savings in your pocket. That's one quick way to save money on a homeowner's policy. The other thing that's important is 99% of these companies that are writing homeowners in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, they give credits for certain things like the Special Olympics. If you donate to the Special Olympics, Arbella will give you a percentage credit. If you're part of the Mass Golf Association and you have a card, you'll get credits. So each company, MapFree offers a nice credit if you belong to AAA. Most people belong to AAA.
How many people know that?
Well, this is why it's important that when you're shopping insurance, an independent broker is a good way to go, because we represent multiple companies that have different credits for different things. MapFree does the AAA credit. Bundling your car with your home.
How much does that save you on a percentage basis? Do you
So
have any idea?
with the AAA credit on MapFree, I think it's 7% off the
substantial.
your home.
Yeah.
There's bundling credit. So everybody listening is probably driving a car, you're insured with somebody. It's important to check to have your home bundled with the same company that you have your car with. There's a credit for that. There's a credit for Mass Save. If you have the Mass Save folks come in and they're going to update.
Michael, a tin roof instead of the shingles, does that save you money? Is there a discount that comes with that when you have a metal roof over a shingle roof?
Well, more than that would be if you have anything new that you do as far as your roof, your heating, your plumbing, and your electrical, you should definitely update your agent, because there'll be discounts for those three areas being new. Doesn't really matter what kind of roof you have, All right. But because a lot of companies will not write you depending on the age of the roof. I know we write for Travelers as one of our companies, and if you have a roof that's more than 12 years old, they won't insure you. So
don't lose your train of thought, because we're going to need to take another break. Then we'll be back right up to noontime. Louis, why don't you take us out, please?
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Sisters and co-owners Antoinetta and Elisa brought their family authentic Italian recipes from Molise, Italy, and a warm and welcoming dining experience to its customers at Ristorante Molise. The combination of their meals made from natural, homemade, fresh ingredients, and your time with family and friends together at dinner time is unmatched. Located in Market Square in the heart of Amesbury, they're open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday from 3 to 9 p.m. and are available for private parties during off hours. For reservations, call them at 978-388-4844. That's 978-388-4844. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy.
And Mike Kunstler,
Owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at 4 Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back, and we're talking insurance, and insurance is so vital today, especially today. With some of these storms that we're getting, it's absolutely insane. And if you want peace of mind, you got to make sure you're covered. And that's what this show is all about. Michael, Roger Trudell is saying good morning to you, and he's loving the rain. And this says his garlic is thanking the rain because he plants garlic.
Good morning, Roger.
If someone has a policy at home that they feel that they're being overcharged by an agency, can they make an appointment and bring that policy in and meet with one of your staff and have them go through it?
Absolutely. Today's day and age, a lot of people are just doing it electronically. They'll just email us the coverage page. That's
okay. That's all you need?
That's mainly
they don't even have to come to the office.
That's mainly all you need. And we always say this, that the best time to review your own policy is before it renews. About 40 days before renewal, you're going to get a renewal document that will give you the new rate for the coming year. And it's always good if you do want to make a change, do that upon renewal.
Okay.
Because it becomes very easy. That way you're not canceling an old one. Administratively, it makes it easy. So we always try to say to people, once you get your renewal premium quote, that's when to take a look at and maybe shop it around a little bit. If you're with a company that has that represents multiple insurance companies, it's worth the phone call. Ask them to pull up your policy and maybe shop it around and give you some ideas on your coverages and how to save a little bit of money.
Okay. What's your website?
It's www.tasullivanagency.com.
I'm amazed you remembered it. But that's a nice.
Some things are slipping a little bit.
That's a nice, easy one.
But I have it right in front of me here, Mike.
I'm having a ball with my little turkey friend here.
So that has Arbella on the back, as you see.
Yeah.
That's one of our insurance companies specifically sent it to me because they knew I was going to be on this show. They want you to use that, Mike and Lou, if you feel like you need to get some anxiety
frustration.
out.
You can squeeze it. I love it. You got yours up there too.
Louis got one in the back, and it's from
Louis tried ripping the head off. That's too much frustration.
Biting the head off.
Too much frustration. It's funny. But getting back to the insurances, so those are some of the tips. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with?
Think about the big picture too. Whenever we see, especially in the fall, and we just saw it a couple of months ago, the hurricanes and the tornadoes that hit
unbelievable
the Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, where towns were just completely
devastated,
gone, right, Mike? And not only were houses involved, think about all the cars that were swept away. So you're talking about, billions and billions of dollars of renovation and rebuild. And you said this at the beginning of the show, a lot of these insurance companies couldn't deal with the claims if they were on their own. So every insurance company in the country is actually paying into a tragedy pool, I call it.
Oh, is that right?
Meaning, which also has to do with the price of, when we say, well, why are the rates going up every year? Well, a lot of it has to do with what's happening out in California. I mean, think about the last few years. We had towns gone due to fire, mudslides, fires. So the insurance carriers all participate in a reinsurance pool, they call it.
Where does FEMA fit into this?
So FEMA will be the Federal Emergency Management Association. They will come in when there's a tragedy, like we can use North Carolina and Florida as an example. FEMA will come in, but what people don't realize when FEMA comes in, if they're going to help with people that, let's say, didn't have flood insurance, so they didn't have insurance, the FEMA money is a loan. It's not an insurance.
I didn't know that.
They'll come in and they'll to the city or town. They might come in and renovate a road or get the electrical going or get the
bridge or whatever.
Right, a bridge or something for the structure. But when it comes to dealing with FEMA or the state, which is MEMA, which has come in during a state issue, the money that they're giving people, they're giving them in the process of a loan. That money has to be paid back. So the best coverage you could have, no matter where you are, is a good insurance policy, because now it's your property, your vehicle, directly insured by a company. If there's a claim, you're dealing with the claims adjuster. Today you're dealing with the company direct. If there's a claim, the old days you used to have to put the claim in through your insurance agent, which you still could do if you want, but now everything becomes electronic. You're dealing with the companies direct. They want to settle these claims fast to get you whole again. And that's the key.
T.A. Sullivan, looking at it, I'm trying to, the role that you play, you guys are almost like a primary care.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
You're like a traffic cop, because you said you deal with so many different agencies. Right. How do you know what agency to go with?
Well,
I mean, is it what people want for insurance?
Well, that's a great question, Mike. And that really becomes the dialogue we have with a customer. Some customers already know what company they prefer. For example, safety insurance. They might have their cars. One of the first questions we ask people when they're buying a new home is, who do you have your car insured with? And if we can match them up with that company, we will.
So that's your first place to go. Try to match up who they have for car insurance.
Right. That's the first place to go. If they don't have a specific company, when we do our quoting, we are plugging in all the specific data, the address of the house, some specifics, and then our quoting portal will quote our 9 different companies at the same time.
I see.
So we're able to then, look at an attractive quote for that customer and then start working on some other things like the Pan Mass Challenge or the Special Olympics, some other ways to save a little bit.
I think
of money.
we're gonna try and take a quick call. Caller, you're on with us. What can we do for
Tony
you?
Palmisano.
Tony Palmisano.
Tony.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Michael, how are you, Mike? Old friend, classmate, former mayor of great city of Lawrence. How's everyone doing?
Well,
We're
Tony,
doing good,
I mentioned to Mike off the air that we were classmates, and Mike looked at me and said, Tony is nowhere near your age. He didn't believe we were classmates. I said, well, he always was the best looking one in our class, Tony. So I was chatting with Mike about congratulations again on the feast, Tony. It's a lot of volunteerism. So good to hear from you.
Good. Oh, good. Very good. Hey, so I did have an actual, other than calling to say hi to my friends, you two, I wanted to ask a question. So I've been hearing a lot about car insurances and how these big major companies are overcharging people with car insurance. Do you have a comment on that, or is it just social media nonsense?
Yeah, Tony, I haven't heard that. I mean, what's happened along the way in the last few months, some of these auto insurance companies will actually put a hold on not writing any new policies over, let's say, for the period of the month of September. I'll give you an example. It happened with us. Travelers is one of our big companies, And what they were doing is they weren't accepting, as crazy as this might sound, they weren't accepting any new auto policies pretty much the month of September, because they had a very big loss ratio throughout the country, and they were putting a little bit of hold on. They didn't want any new autos. Companies have done things like that to try to get their loss ratio.
It's got to be a risk factor in a center.
Yeah,
and I understand what they were doing. Yeah,
but I haven't heard anything where. I mean, these companies that are in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, I mean, they're all A-rated companies that we write for.
Right.
You know, on that note, Tony, I think you want to be insured by companies that have an A rating. That's a very important question for people that are shopping insurance.
Good point.
And do a history of the companies, you know.
And do you recommend that you shop like every year, every couple of years? Like, how often should you shop to see if you're getting a good, decent rate?
Good question, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, I recommend you shop every year upon when you get your renewal bill for your auto or home. That's the time, because it's about 40 days before it renews. That's a great time to shop around a little bit. Not only to maybe, you know, get a better price, but just to make sure you have the right coverage as well. So I recommend every year that you shop it, you take a look at it. And as we said in the beginning of the hour, it's important to understand the coverages you have more than a price. Because when a claim comes in, that's when you want to make sure you have the right coverage.
Tony, I've only got a couple of minutes left to go before we go off the air. I want to thank you personally for giving us a call and wishing you and your family and everybody else out there for that matter.
Yeah.
Happy
Have a
Thanksgiving.
nice Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Tony.
You know, I have to say one thing about Tony. He's been the job that he's done for the past few years with the Sandalfio Society and the transition, and it has transitioned quite a bit. Done a wonderful job.
Totally.
And it's to his credit. It's like a full-time job. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. And like you know it, the hours that I put in starting now, right? You all started 2 days after the event, getting ready for the next year.
You know, by February we used to have all the entertainment booked. Everything done, all signed contracts. We knew who was going to be in the Common. We knew who was going to be in the bandstand. That section had to be out of the way. Right. And then it was going out and trying to raise the money for it.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Listen, in closing, what do you have to say to our listeners?
Well, listen, first of all, Mike, thank you for the work
you're coming back.
Getting the word out.
No, you're coming back.
But for the listeners, I wish you the best Thanksgiving ever. Throughout all this dialogue about where the world is, the tragedies, we have a lot to be thankful for. And I think it's always important to reflect on that. Any assistance anyone needs out there, I'm a phone call away. My family's been around. We're here to help. No question is a bad question. And
true.
Especially when you're talking about the insurance product. But wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving and wonderful Christmas holidays throughout.
One last question. When are you going back to Italy?
I want to get back there next year to the old homestead, Mom's town. Visit some of the relatives.
You had a real good time.
Very good.
Hey, listen, everybody, we're winding it up. And I want to thank you once again for being with us. Last week, we had some technical problems, not at our end, but we had some problems. And we apologize for that inconvenience. But we're up and running, and that's a good thing. Listen, be safe, enjoy, and you know something, join us next week. We're actually going to be Louis and I are going to take Friday off after Thanksgiving. You know why, Louis? Because we deserve it.
Because we deserve it. Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an encore show on, and we hope you enjoy it. And then we'll be back with Esther on the first Friday of December. Listen, take care, enjoy, be safe, guys.